Hi, I'm Liz Thompson and welcome to the home decorating section of our Janome Inspirations. Just as with quilt making and with garment sewing, style and preferences, personal tastes vary considerably, so it is in our homes as well. We can decorate our homes with seasonal accents such as Halloween or Christmas items, table runners, tree skirts around the Christmas tree, pretty tablecloths decorated with machine embroidery and embellishment, to complete room makeovers from drapes to pillows, slip covers for couches and settees. All of these things can be done absolutely effortlessly with the array of Janome sewing machines and sergers that are available to us. A good place to start for a beginner is with simple things like table runners and tablecloths. And then what about starting in the sewing room with a simple wall hanging that has been embellished with lots and lots of decorative stitching and then has embroidery in the middle, sewing forever, housework never.
Hear, hear.
Won't get any arguments from us.
Nope.
Home dec is a great way to explore your love of sewing and to play with the things that you like to do and add those accents, those personal touches around the house.
Pillows are an excellent way to do that because it's a small piece of fabric and they're easy. You know, if you get bored, you can just make a new one because they're that quick. What are some of your tips, Celine, for dealing with pillows?
I like when we add piping. I use my zipper foot that comes with the machine. And I can move my needle position because I like the 11,000 with the electronic machine, you know, with the needle position.
Yes.
And so that zipper foot has a second life. You know, you use it for zipper or for piping.
So you can get the needle nice and close and make sure that
Closer
it's all really
when it's
neat and
thick like
tidy.
this. When it's thick like this, okay. Of course, we have piping foot in the Janome optional accessories,
Right.
but this is way too thick for that foot, so that's why I use my zipper foot.
Right.
Also, we have another foot which is the sliding universal zipper foot, adjustable, and then we can just move it closer and closer to the big round cord.
Yep.
So this is an optional accessories from Janome.
just
It
go-
gives just around slow.
Perfect.
Needle down because it helps to prepare for the next
That's such
sewing.
a great feature on the machines, the needle up down.
Yes, it holds.
Even the
work.
625 has the needle up, needle down function.
Excellent.
Exactly. So it holds the work, and then you keep going, and look at the nice,
beautiful. It's a really
ad.
nice
and it's like
finish.
yes, and it gives body to the
To the
to the
edge.
cushion,
Yep.
to the cushion, and it's designer.
simple.
It's like
Yes.
designer, and you create.
And of course that cushion was also embellished with machine embroidery and quilting, free motion stippling for a very elegant look.
Really,
Gorgeous.
the colors, also the choice of the color.
Linda, what tips have you got for us?
Oh, I love making pillows. I just make them all the time. I've got them all over my house. Here's my little pillow that I've done with our embroidery software. I've designed it to go in our home. The one of the things that really bugs me about pillows is the funny little corners that you end up with.
The
You know,
dog
little
ears
rabbit
that flop
ears.
over.
That pop up on the corner.
And there's like never anything in them. So what I like to do is I like to take off just a little, about a quarter of an inch. So where this chalk line is, I would take my scissors and cut that off. So now I'm not going to get this little pokey corner. The other thing that I like to do is, as I'm stitching, is change the stitch length. So as I'm sewing, I'm pushing the button or turning the knob and changing the stitch length, so it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller as I'm coming towards the corner. And again, a short stitch length, needle down on my 625, needle down and keep going, and then increase the stitch length back up to the regular length. And I can do that while I'm sewing.
So that helps stabilize the corner when you trim it.
Yeah, so when I trim
without-
it, it's not gonna, when I turn it right
You won't
side out,
poke
it
it
won't
through
poke
when
it
you're
through.
turning the corners
So yeah,
out.
so reduce your stitch length, and as you're sewing, it's just, I love that.
I like the feeling of being able to tee, 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 tee.
Yeah.
As you're
Yeah,
going on
yeah,
the 6600, I know I can just adjust the length and the width as I'm going on the fly.
Speaking of that 6600, you know, when I do pillows, I always choose a luscious fabric. whether it's a velveteen, rayon velvet, laces, satines. And you know what works the best is that AccuFeed. The feeding system on that machine is terrific to control the fabrics and to hold everything.
No
in
fabric
place.
is too fussy.
Never, never, never.
So you've got decorative stitches in
And
there?
yes, of course, and include some of the decorative stitches. Again, you know, so many of our Janome owners will say, well, what do I do with decorative stitches? We'll use them. You know, this pillow is a fine example. There's one stitch here, and it's just, look, it's stitched just row after row. Some rows are short, some rows are long, but it's a texturizing effect.
Yep.
And a multicolored
And
thread.
multicolored threads.
And then the piping around the edge, of course, finished it off to give it a really neat professional finish.
How could you finish the end of each design properly without stopping in the middle of a design?
No, it's the automatic lock button.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's
Press
just
that
just
and
yeah.
it finishes the stitch and comes to a dead
Yeah.
stop.
another good
It
feature.
does. That works really well.
And then if a machine has scissors, oh, that's the dream. Snip the ends. I mean, aren't we getting
Oh,
spoiled?
those auto cutters.
Then I don't need to stab myself in my leg with my scissors hanging around my neck. It's built into my machine. The other thing that I like to do is I really like the look that you get with a flange pillow. Unfortunately, though, I have got those doggy ears on the edges of my pillow. Has somebody got a tip
Linda's
for
got
me?
a tip for that. With
Show
the
us,
batting.
Linda.
With the batting.
Where's the batting? Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. Oh, I forgot the batting. Take a piece of fleece and I give it to Liz. So fold it,
Fold it in half.
fold it in half.
Yep.
Fold it in half again.
Making
Pass
us
it
a
to
little-
Liz.
This is the quick fix. This is the quick fix, and you just pop it into the corner of the pillow and then tuck the cushion in, and we have instant, no more dog ears in the corner of our pillow, which is a really quick way. And then, Ellen, you also have another way that you make sure that your pillow fits snugly.
Cut the fabric exactly to the size of the insert.
So don't
so
add
it's
any
a
extra?
no seam allowance.
So when
no.
I buy a 16-inch
Oh,
pillow
You
form,
cut a 16-inch square front and back and stitch it with your seam allowance. The seam allowance snugs it in, and
Yeah.
you've got a
And then you've got a
perfect fit.
What
well-fitting
seam
Yes.
pillow.
allowance do you use?
Well, it depends on the fabric, Linda. You know,
Okay.
if it's really heavy, seam allowance could be as little as 3/4 of an inch,
Oh.
or not 3/4, 3/8 of an inch.
Oh,
rather.
wow. What a great
5/8
idea, Ellen.
maybe
Which
if
is
it's
1
a solid like
centimeter.
that. Correct. Yes.
In Montreal.
In Montreal. Correct.
So we've got pointy corners on yours, and then with the serger, I actually like to round the corners. So when it's cutting the fabric, and we're talking about the skinny little seam allowance too, the serger would be perfect for that because you're just chugging along, and instead of turning with the needle down, you just chug right around the corner and do a nice little curve,
Yep.
and then you can avoid the whole pointy
Rounded
corner thing.
corners.
You don't
Yes.
have to go
Exactly.
It's a different look.
It is.
Mhm.
One of the things that I like to do too when I'm dealing with pillows, because we haven't talked about closing them, is to deal with the zipper first. If you put that in and you're dealing with the two flat pieces of fabric, you can line it up and then and you can match your fabric all nice and perfect too. And then of course if you don't want to do zippers, you don't have them, you can't be bothered, even though the zipper foot is extremely easy to use. You can do the flap,
The flap.
nice big flap there too.
Oh,
and
Celine.
some decorative stitching on there.
Absolutely.
Yes, there's a very pretty way of doing.
That is
Very
so
romantic, very
nice.
feminine.
And that's just with the ribbon stitched right in, right?
Ribbon is stitched. Top
That's a
stitched top.
boudoir pillow.
Very nice. I've got a little bit of a fancy thing going on with this one too. This one was
Oh,
done
I
with the
like
felting
that.
machine. This is the FM 725, and so this is there's no felt in here. There's no wool. This is all fancy other fabrics you wouldn't necessarily think of with the felting
Synthetics,
machine.
polyesters.
Exactly.
And that
We've got
embellishment is a no sew then, is what you're saying.
no sew except
Oh,
for the
go.
edges on the pillow.
Wow.
So we've got the organza there, which is nice and sparkly, and this is an acrylic wool in there, and then it's just punched through with the needle punch felting machine, the FM 725.
So I could even buy a simple pillowcase, put it on my machine.
Oh, clever lady.
Oh, and I don't have to learn how to sew those edge finishes yet.
No, absolutely. Lots of fabulous things we can do with the Janome machines. Whether it's sewing, embroidery, embellishing, we can do it all.